For a medical device that only started 2 years ago and we're already having international attention, there's a reason for that. It's because I obsessively hustle every single day. And I also am not afraid to reach out to anybody. I'm checking LinkedIn constantly. I'm like, who's the undersecretary of this department right now? And I'll friend them on LinkedIn. Like, that's how we're talking with NATO. I went and found the director of medical excellence at NATO, and I friended him on LinkedIn, and he's like, why are you connecting? And I'm like, this is what I'm doing, and we want to help save lives for NATO soldiers. And he's like, oh yeah, that's great. We need to have a meeting. Like, I talked to the lieutenant commander of the medical forces for Ukraine Army. I hit him up on LinkedIn. We had a Zoom call. Like, he's over 9 million soldiers, but he also wants them to not die because they still have 1,200 wounded a day. Wow. And so we're working on a letter of intent right now with them. After we show them the devices, then we're looking at doing like a $2 million letter of intent to get devices over to Ukraine.
Wow.
With as hard as life can be, I wouldn't ask to change a thing. Everything I've been through brought me closer to you. You worth it.
Hello and welcome to LFG with AQi. Today we're joined by Jessica Queen with OMEDUS. Jessica has an amazing new medical technology product that I'm so excited to talk to her about, and she's going to be raising on AQi, so we're excited to talk a little bit about that and what that might entail. And so welcome, Jessica Queen.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh,
and
good.
Super excited to be opening up a raise on AQi. I think it's such an amazing platform, such an amazing opportunity for women, and I just love it.
Oh, thank you. It's been so fun to getting to know you over the last, it's been about a year.
Yeah, I think it has been about a year since we first connected.
And so let's just kind of jump right in. So you had this idea. Tell me where this idea came from and what it has evolved into that it's now being internationally known. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, I'm a nurse practitioner and kind of came out of a lot of pain, unfortunately. Nursing is an amazing opportunity. It's an amazing career, and I highly recommend anyone who wants to be a nurse definitely go at it. But some of the pain, especially during COVID, is when we are overwhelmed with patients and we can't see everybody at the same time. A system like that just doesn't really exist. And because of that, I lost patients that I didn't need to. And it was simply because of that poor situational awareness. And that was really frustrating. COVID was an amazing time. I was asked to be a medical director on the Nebraska COVID Echo Board. So I was seeing firsthand, talking to vaccine manufacturers and seeing all the innovation. It was exciting, but nothing was helping us at the bedside make that better decision. And so, not knowing anything, I just figured I'd give it a shot. And what's amazing is Omaha, Nebraska is actually a great startup scene. Between 1 Million Cups and other groups around town, and now AQi, it just provides that safety net of you can actually do this. So I started learning. I went through a couple business accelerators. We incorporated the company in 24, and we started doing prototypes and testing and, talking to 1 million people. I feel like we probably have, but that's the most important thing is we've talked to EMS and doctors and police and military and, thousands and thousands literally of people to make sure we're getting this right. And what it's turned into is this Triage360 platform that combines a small wearable. You pop it on wounded's chest. It assesses them, it triages them automatically, and you can track other life-saving interventions that you've done to them, which all talks to a great dashboard, and that's really the magic. That tells you who's the most critical, where we need to focus, how we can actually intervene in time to save lives.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
I think about like omnipresence because you can't know everything.
No,
you're not a deity. You know what's happening, but you've created something that allows from the dashboard to watch dozens, if not hundreds of patients at once, and it actually catalogs who needs to be seen.
Yeah. We consider it a force multiplier. So the last thing I would ever want someone to think is that we're replacing nurses or medics, because we absolutely can't. but I can't tell you how many times I wish I could clone myself and be in several places. And that's exactly what the Triage360 system is about. You do your work on this person, leave that Triage360 beacon behind and go do something else. And it's kind of like, I got you. I'll let you know if something is happening.
Yeah.
And that's what's great, is that's the kind of help we need. We
Yes.
need somebody watching our back, watching our six.
And speaking of being able to leave it and like go somewhere, what is the range?
Yeah.
Because that did not exist prior to. That was one of the other problems that you solved.
It was. So typically wireless devices are Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and that only gets us a couple meters. So we use a different technology that I love to joke is from the cornfields to the battlefields. It's called LoRaWAN, and we use it for central pivot irrigation monitoring or cattle gates, very Nebraska, agriculturally tied. But it's something that actually can go miles, and we're building in technology that can be turned on or off, right? Especially for our military, sometimes they can't send any signals, and we need to make it safe. But civilian side, we can even do satellite communication, actually. So kind of wherever you need it to go.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is even if you can't connect to base station, this is the other problem too with wireless things, is that great, it's doing cool things, and then it loses connection, and now you have an expensive sticker doing no good. But we kept the screen on the device, on the patient at all times. So you can see the history of what's happened, you can see the live vitals real time, the ECG. To me, that's really important because I don't want to have to go find a screen when I'm treating. I want to see live updates as I'm doing something to a person and how that's helping them.
Tell me the time where you've been talking to hundreds of people. Your customer discovery is excellent.
Thank you.
You've talked to a lot of people. Tell me about the time that you were somewhere and you were like, this is really going to happen. People really want to see this.
Yeah, so I mean, Vegas.
Yeah.
We were
Everything
so
great happens
honored.
in Vegas. Like in Vegas.
So we got chosen to be in the startup arena at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, which is massive. There are 200,000 people there.
What a privilege to be able to be invited to that, because
Absolutely.
not just any schmo can get
no.
there.
It's very competitive to
Yeah.
get into there. I think they only take 100 companies. And so we got a booth for the week, which was amazingly cheap also for CES. So we're there and we're just talking to people from all over the world. Lots of people from several different countries are there and checking out this technology. And everyone's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this doesn't exist yet. I'm like, I know, right? I mean, that's where we've gotten so much international attention. Like folks from Australia have called us, Lithuania, Ukraine, obviously, just everywhere. All of the Eastern European unions and Japan. And so that event really was like, oh my gosh, we have created truly the first of its kind. And everybody we talked to immediately recognized the value. Immediately. Like, that's what I love about the system. You don't really have to explain it. It kind of sells itself. I mean, who doesn't want to know exactly the condition of somebody that they're trying to manage in, chaos, or even just busy ERs or post-op wards? So that's when it was like, oh my gosh, this is really, really happening. And then Shark Tank called us, which was crazy. They had seen us at CES. They had seen us that we were exhibiting, and they cold called us. And we were excited to talk with them. The timing of their show schedule, we just didn't quite have devices ready, so we won't be on Shark Tank right now. But maybe next year, we'll see.
That's a great visibility
Yes.
to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Were you worried at all about people seeing what you had and then them trying to beat you to market? Like, do you have
Absolutely.
protection around your
Yes.
ideas that patented?
Yeah, so we have 2 patents. One's fast-tracked right now, and then the other one, one of the exciting things we're doing right now is in DARPA's Triage Challenge, which is super cool.
That's a big deal.
It is
Kind of a big deal.
There's only 7 companies in it globally,
Yeah.
and we're up there with Harvard and Raytheon.
incredible.
So here's our little Omaha
Little
team
Omaha,
in there.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
It's been
Good for Omaha.
It's been cool, but that other patent is still open because we're writing really cool algorithms with the DARPA Triage Challenge to really push the AI to the edge. And so once we're done with that in November, then that second patent will be submitted. But actually, what was really fun is for CES, my engineers built a unit to take but it was wrong. It wasn't built correctly. So it worked, but it didn't work like our actual unit's going to, which was super intentional because, yeah, we don't want somebody to beat us to the punch.
Don't want to reverse engineer it.
And then our COO was unaware of this, so he was like sweating bullets the entire show until like the second to last day. And I was like, well, you know we designed this wrong, right? Like, I mean, even the icons are wrong and all the things. And he's like, nobody tells me these things. He's like, I'm thinking everyone's going to rip our design off. I'm like, nah, we're good. We're good. There's nothing here that we use off-the-shelf components for
Really
it.
smart.
So there was really nothing proprietary in that demo unit, which was great. But you still got the concept. So
Yeah. So on the outside, it seems very successful.
Yeah.
People want it.
Yeah.
Like people are excited.
yeah,
What's the part that maybe people don't see? Like what's the hard part?
the slow grind.
The slow grind.
The slow grind, and manufacturing is hard. Hardware is hard, right? You go through lots of iterations. You have to get software. You have to get the right people you trust. So it's been a slow process. We've actually, I think we're on maybe our third manufacturer now, and I mean the other ones were fine. There were just different things that we ended up not aligning on. I really love our contract manufacturer. They're out of Chicago, so they're very Midwest. They do a ton of defense work, which helps us with our go-to-market strategy. And we just have seen their work, and we know they're going to deliver a great project. So, and fundraising, of course, funding has just been a huge struggle because something like this would qualify for like an SBIR. And of course that all got shut down. Now it's getting, restarted. And then the market really took a hit, and so it's been kind of the worst fundraising season that it's been in the last several years. I blame that a lot on the 2021 craze, because now we're 5 years past that. And I think a lot of portfolios are looking at all that money they dumped in then, they're looking for exits, and a lot of that's evaporating. So I don't think there was a lot of return on some of those 2021 investments. So it's just a tough time to raise. It's hardware is hard and expensive. We also have an FDA path, and that's complicated too. Not terribly, because we're going for a 510K, but it is something that investors are sometimes cautious when you have a regulated product, because it does just take extra work.
Yeah.
So,
And it can be frustrating. I've heard, we've had many conversations over the last year. So much excitement from other countries, from NATO, from the U.S. government.
Yeah.
But the funding is such a long
it is.
runway before you get that. So you have to create an MVP. You need to be able to have the money to go to manufacturing and have it. And that takes a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
And we've been grateful that we've had some angels hop on board. We actually started with the Nebraska prototype grant. That was truly our first kickoff. Super grateful that those kind of funds exist, because I'm a nurse, I'm a mom, I am not wealthy at all. I have, and my husband was laid off during COVID. So like our reserves were pretty light to start a company, but it needed to exist. So we did it anyway. And the military is great, but it's a very long sales cycle. Hospitals are too. They want to see that FDA. They want to see the efficacy. They want to see it proven before they'll buy.
Yeah.
We just have to keep finding ways to do that. I mean, that's part of the reason we're raising,
Right.
because we need money to do those clinical trials. We need money to travel around. The final DARPA challenge will be in November, which will be so exciting. It'll be in College Station, Texas, at this place called Disaster City, which is like 44 acres of like real city that they can like bomb and flood and like do all this crazy stuff to. And so they'll have a big mass casualty thing. And what's been really exciting is we've really caught the attention of some of the other players, like Carnegie Mellon and a couple robotics teams. And so we're actually teaming on another DARPA submission after this DARPA thing is concluded, to further push these into real life. So it's very exciting to be working at that level with these companies.
That's really great.
Yeah, and then our devices should be on the field in November,
And for those that might not know what DARPA stands for, what is DARPA?
Basically what DARPA is the US government's very advanced research division. They actually created the internet. They created a lot of the technology we use
Did Al
every
Gore work
day.
there?
I don't know.
Like the whole Al Gore, like I created the internet.
Yeah.
That's
it's
interesting.
so funny. Yeah, but they, so basically they are the cutting edge of technology, and not just for the US, pretty much globally. And I think that was one of the coolest moments. We were in DC last September at a military emerging technology symposium. And some DARPA folks came over and they were like, we've never seen this before. And I was like, what? They're like, ma'am, we've never seen this before. We have this DARPA triage challenge going on. You should apply to be a part of it. And that was just crazy because,
incredible.
you know, we're there and people are doing their things with robots and drones and we're just a little company.
So I'm going to chalk this up to, you mentioned Omaha's a great place for ingenuity.
It is.
We have such a great incubator here.
Yeah.
We have the talent, we have the people.
Yeah.
We are able to create great teams. But there's something around women creators that like sees a problem and brings a solution to the table that just has never been seen. That's what, and I think you had the same thing. Like, I cannot believe nobody has thought of this before, because it seems fairly simple.
Yeah.
But yet it wasn't.
It's complicated
And
too.
it took your brain and the team that you created and this incredible company to bring this and thinking about how many lives you might save in the future. Does that just make you so proud?
It makes me incredibly proud. I love going to, like, I'm in a New York business thing right now, and they're like, Omaha. I'm like, yeah, Omaha. Yeah, because this is the middle of the country, and we have amazing resources here. We have very wise people here. But yeah, I think women are incredible founders. I mean, the data backs that up. Like, we return more. We typically do better. It is so frustrating that we don't get invested in. I think especially when people look at moms, they get nervous, like, oh gosh, her kids are gonna keep her from doing something. But anyone who's been a parent knows your ability to multitask like grows infinitely after you have children.
Yes.
And I think I have an amazingly supportive husband who lets me travel, lets me do whatever. You know, we kind of joke, we've sort of like flip-flop roles. He takes care of most of the cooking, cleaning, and the kids' activities, and I mean, that's why I'm able to do what I can do.
Yeah.
But I think women are just as capable as men of running businesses. And I also think that there's something unique about our ability to be very empathetic, because every business, every startup is designed to solve a pain point, right? Well, how can you really understand a pain point if you're not empathetic? Yeah. So I think that women can sometimes translate the benefit of what they're doing a little bit better even than men can occasionally.
Yeah, I see that a lot. We're going to be moving into our LFG segment, so that is the Launch Fund Grind.
All right.
So part of your launch was really bringing together a team.
Yeah.
Because it's Jessica's idea, but there's no way any of us can do something on our own.
Oh, no.
What has been the importance to you of creating the right team and bringing the right people together? And what advice would you give to other women founders on being able to find that right team?
I think keeping an open mind. So one thing I looked, I got on LinkedIn and I looked for open to work banners, by the way, for all of those looking for jobs.
The little green open to work.
I looked for those because somebody is looking for something. And I think that there is benefit to like finding talent that's currently somewhere and pulling them. But if somebody's already looking, like, to me, that's very attractive. So, and I knew skill set. So basically I got on there and I typed in exactly what skill set I was looking for. And I did want somebody Midwest. And so that's how I found my lead engineer. And I just cold reached out to him on LinkedIn. I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Like, do you want to get coffee? It was super random because he's in Wichita, Kansas. And I actually was part of a accelerator called Pipeline at the time that happened to be in Wichita that week. And I'm like, I promise I'm not stalking you. I just happened to be here this week at the university that he's an adjunct professor at. So we grabbed coffee and I think we just really clicked personality-wise. He had done other startups. He'd actually exited successfully. He's former military. He had the skill set I was looking for and plus, actually. because he actually manages IP for Boeing. So
Wow.
that's all my IP. I just like, he handles that. If he can handle it for Boeing, I'm pretty sure our little company fits in his wheelhouse. But I think there was that trust there immediately. Pretty good at reading people. And then I trust him to handle onboarding other engineers. So he identified our junior developer, super smart kid. We love having him on the team. And then for operations, was actually somebody who I had known from the Omaha area. And I hadn't hired him formally, but we kind of touched base, more so because I couldn't afford it. But he had a really unique skill set of lots of time in the hospital side, but also selling medical devices. So I think just that really broad experience of knowing what it's like to sell and knowing what it's like as a buyer, just those skill sets were great. But one thing I would advise anyone looking to hire, don't hire your skill set at all. I have a unique skill set and deep industry knowledge that my teammates don't have at all. And one thing I see on some startups that maybe failed, unfortunately, is they have very overlapping skill sets. And I think that the first time you go into a startup, you don't know what you don't know. I'm still learning. I am not an expert, even though we've been doing this for 2 years. I was just on the phone today with the state about employment tax thing that I was like, what? So
the nightmare of owning businesses is dealing with like all the paperwork, the quarterly, the reports, and
Actually, he was really nice. And he's like, I can help you get these filed. Just tell me these. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. Again, Nebraska is nice. Like,
Nebraska
so
nice,
great.
it's true.
They want you to win. We're not hiring per se because the budget is not there. So it's better to do contract pieces, but still, with any business we get into, like there has to be that trust piece. And I really want to know that they're like a plus. Like our tax firm, for instance. We hired them because they can do a great job with taxes, but also they have a huge network and they do a lot in the regulated and military space. And they have a lot of other divisions that, even though it's taxes, it still impacts like raising, for instance, right? So they work closely with our lawyers to ensure the corporate structure is beneficial not only to us, but also other investors coming in. So I really like people, organizations who are open to working with others collaboratively, because, if we're all working as a team, then it just works so much better. And you don't have to be best friends with everybody.
Yes.
But being able to argue successfully as adults is really important.
Yeah.
My engineer and I butt head on things a lot because there are finite physical things that can happen. And then there's my world where I just imagine anything can happen. And those two don't always mesh. He's very patient to explain why it can't, but he keeps an open mind of if we wanted to invent something, like it will cost a lot and we can do that. We would just have to raise for it. But I think we do really, really well on each sharing each other's side, explaining exactly without emotion, drama, whatever, because we have to be able to disagree and collectively make a decision of this is the best path for the company.
Yeah.
So
I think it's really important to find people that you have respect for, that respect you. So finding that right team that you can communicate honesty and respect, I think are always kind of the top for me.
Yeah.
That we're going to disagree, but we're going to do it in a respectful manner. And we're going to be able to walk out of the conversation of like, okay, we're back to like level 0, right? You're not always going to be happy. Not everything is always going to go well, but you need to have that like baseline.
Yeah, like there was, not disagreement even sounds too strong, but again, manufacturing. I had talked about how we kind of had a struggle, and there were 2 paths ahead of us, between manufacturing and FDA. And we spent 2 weeks, and we just, I really appreciated him calling out all these different things that I wasn't thinking of. And like, I was frustrated that it was taking so long, but at the same time, I'm super grateful now that we were so meticulous because now our manufacturing and FDA path is really locked down and really clear. And we have a great understanding of exactly the monetary amount it's going to take to get to this step, this step, this step. So because he's so detailed and meticulous, he really pushes all of our vendors to what is the exact amount? What is your slush? Like what happens if this happens? I'm not a very, very finite detailed person. I'm more big picture, which is appropriate for a CEO and kind of the visionary behind things.
Right.
So it's just so good. It's really annoying sometimes too, because they will call me out and say, have you looked at these details? Have you double checked? Have we done due diligence? And my operations guy is the same way. But because they sort of tether me to the ground, we've been successful because those details are checked.
Yes.
We move forward well.
Yeah, that's a great partnership. Talking about the funding, we talked a little bit, we're going to be doing a raise on AQi.
Yes.
I want to really dig into, for you as a founder, when you take VC funding and you think about autonomy, board seats, and equity, how do you balance your choice of going like Reg CF, and you've done some seed funding?
Yes.
What was the line for you on like, this is amount of equity that I'm willing to give up, this is a board seat that I'm willing to give up? Like, what was your thought process on that?
Yeah, so I still have quite a bit of control of the company. We really have not given out a lot of equity for the raise, and I'm just not stingy, but I just want to make sure the people who are onboarding are truly pulling in the same lane that we are. Most of our angel investors are retired military, actually, and so they really understand that pain point. But they also have a network of our customers too. And so some of our investors are also on our advisory board and have a little equity because they are helping to do that go-to-market motion for us, kind of grease the skids, and identify other investors that might want to come in. So it's, I'm not opposed to VC. We are raising an amount that is kind of awkward. There's somewhat defined amounts for pre-seed, seed, Series A. VCs like to come in with Series A. They like to come in when you have a little bit of revenue. That's kind of been a sticking point to some of the VCs we've pitched to. That's like written in their contracts. And it just takes so much money for us to get to revenue because we have to have all of manufacturing done and all of FDA done. And those are very expensive things. So that's where we've done more with angels. But I think that this Equitas, I like it because it does kind of let me maintain more control. I don't necessarily have to give a board seat to do this raise. For the right person, we will. But I don't know. I'm pretty picky when it comes to who gets on my cap table, who gets on my board. I know I've gotten lots of great advice that the wrong person can really, derail a great project. So we're just really careful about who we're bringing into the fold. Very high trust barrier. What's great about AQi is you guys kind of help manage all the folks who would come into that round. And I love that because, like my grandma, she's like, "Can I give you like $1,000?" And it's so sweet of her. $1,000 by itself doesn't actually do a lot. But with an AQi round, she could do that. She could go talk to her friends. She can get a little posse together.
Yes.
And with a collaborative effort, it can make a huge difference for us to move forward. The round that we're talking about doing pretty much takes care of the rest of the manufacturing and part of the FDA. We're still leaving room on the cap table for maybe a larger VC or a strategic partner. That's also where we're kind of aiming. Talking with groups like Philips or Bosch, who could eventually be an acquirer, is a great move for us to look at leaving a little equity space for them to come in. And we've already started those conversations because I love this project. It's definitely my baby. I'm excited to see where it goes in the world. But money is not a bad thing. And selling a really successful idea for a reasonable amount, and I have a number, that gives me money then that I can turn around and either do more projects or find other great companies to invest in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I really love about Reg CF Lane is that people that aren't accredited investors can invest.
Yes.
So like it really did change.
Like my grandma.
Yeah, like your grandma. Yeah, like it really did change. Prior to 2012, you had to be, worth more than $2 million and make $150,000 a year just to even get into private equity.
Right.
So it really does open up a lane for people to invest in really great ideas. I mean, imagine being able to do that in Apple when it was like still private and be able to like invest in something like that. So. Not saying your company is going to be like Apple.
That'd be amazing.
SEC probably wouldn't like that. However, like it's pretty freaking cool. So
it is cool, and I think it's interesting to me because it's kind of like a soft IPO in a way.
Yeah.
And I know that it's a little bit newer, but I really think that we'll start to see the market paying attention to these crowdfunding platforms as a signal of maybe what an IPO valuation could even look like.
Yeah.
I think that it's a good barometer. But I also think specifically for women, because crowdfunding is something that women do a lot. We do it on GoFundMe.
Yes.
We somebody has a baby, you're buying them a meal, you're doing a meal train, right? And I think that we really truly care about things, and I for sure would be willing to give up the cost of a Costco trip to support an idea that I really love, and I might get a little equity and something out of it. Heck yeah. Because I would probably give that $250 anyway if it's a cause I really care about. And then if there's actually potential benefit on the flip side to me, that's even better. So I think what you're doing is so smart. I think it captures what a lot of us want to do and just feel unable to do so because we aren't billionaires, you know. But just because I'm not a millionaire doesn't mean I don't have an extra maybe a couple $100,000 that I could find somewhere for something I really truly believed in.
Yeah. It's voting with your dollars.
It is.
It really is. I mean, so there's been so many things that my daughters, I have 5 daughters.
Yeah.
So they're very liberal and they're like, they want to change the world. And I'm like, you can't change the world, but you can figure out where you're going to spend your time. You can volunteer and you can put your money toward things that are important to you.
Exactly.
And so I think that putting your money towards something that's important to you, that's going to save lives in the field, maybe that could eventually help your grandmother.
Yeah.
Because someday she's in that situation. Like, again, it's really important. All right, last question. What does the day-to-day look like, the grind? What does that day-to-day look like for you? Because you travel so much, Jessica. Every time I talk to you, I'm like, where are you at today? Like, what part of the world are you in? You spend a lot of time in DC.
We do.
What does that look like for you? And how do you balance that? You mentioned having a really supportive partner and you have young kids.
Yeah.
You seem like you're just thriving.
And
you glow when I see you talk about your company. I love that.
My husband's actually said the same thing. Like, I mean, I was in healthcare for 20 years and I loved it, but he's like, you truly were made to do this because he's like, you're like flourishing. It's like, I don't know, a second phase of life or something. I really enjoy it because I get to deal with people all day long. So my day, I get up really early and I'm chugging through emails and I'm, trying to get projects done, typically writing some papers because we're submitting for SBIRs and different grants. I go through a ton of opportunities. I'm constantly online looking at sites like F6S and others that have grant, and I apply to everything I can. And I really attribute a lot of our success to that because the more you throw yourself out there, the more you can win. Like we just won $30,000 in DC last week.
Awesome.
So it's just a lot of really intentional putting yourself out there. And I always try and hit 3 areas for sure. What is my customer outreach today? What is my strategic outreach today? And what is my investor outreach today? And if I haven't done something in those 3 categories, then I need to keep working. But if I aim for at least 2 in each. 5 is great because then I've done 15 outreaches for the day.
Wow.
And even if it's follow-ups, still, you gotta hustle. I mean, it's a lot, but if you don't hustle, nothing moves forward. And our company, for a medical device that only started 2 years ago and we're already having international attention, there's a reason for that. It's because I obsessively hustle every single day. And I also am not afraid to reach out to anybody. I'm checking LinkedIn constantly. I'm like, who's the undersecretary of this department right now? And I'll friend them on LinkedIn. Like, that's how we're talking with NATO. I went and found the director of medical excellence at NATO, and I friended him on LinkedIn, and he's like, why are you connecting? And I'm like, this is what I'm doing, and we want to help save lives for NATO soldiers. And he's like, oh yeah, that's great. We need to have a meeting. Like, I talked to the lieutenant commander of the medical forces for Ukraine Army. I hit him up on LinkedIn. We had a Zoom call. Like, he's over 9 million soldiers, but he also wants them to not die because they still have 1,200 wounded a day.
Wow.
And so we're working on a letter of intent right now with them. After we show them the devices, then we're looking at doing like a $2 million letter of intent to get devices over to Ukraine.
Wow.
So like this, and it takes time, you know, you have to build a relationship. Every customer has to know they can trust you. So you're never, unless you're selling like literally a toy that's on the shelf, you're never going to sell something to somebody on the first time. You have to contact them. You have to prove to them that you're trustworthy. You have to prove to them that you will follow through on things that you said that you're going to do. And for our customers, military, medical, their trust is insanely high and it breaks super fast. So, and you have to be very careful name dropping unless you're really confident about that, because they will talk to that person.
Yeah.
So don't name drop unless you can really 100% stand on that name.
Yeah.
And that's been true when I've been talking to senators and you know, everyone. But just sometimes I get scared. Like messaging that NATO person, I felt like, oh gosh, who am I reaching out to this person? Which I have no idea why I felt that way, but I think I just do. And I just remind myself, like, every time I feel scared to do something, like, what's the worst they're going to say? No. It's not like anyone's going to come busting into my house arresting me for trying to talk to someone. Like, seriously, they might say no and they may not like you. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's the key right there, and women need to hear that fearlessness.
Yeah.
You have fearlessness. And maybe it's the fake it till you make it sometimes.
I think so.
Because I think we all have that anxiety, but just do it and just make the connection.
Do it scared.
And you're right, like, do it scared. Like,
Yeah.
And you have made a difference. The fact that 2 years into your company, people are paying attention.
Yes.
And I love your diligence of doing, you know, between 6 and 15 reach outs per day. It's paid off, and you've seen it pay off. So you are hustling and you're grinding. I celebrate you.
Also, I will say one more thing. Show up where your people are.
Yes.
You mentioned I travel a lot. I do travel a lot. A lot of our raise is funds to get me places. Why? Because our customers aren't interested in reaching out to me. I have to go to their face, put it in their face and be like, isn't this cool? And then they go, oh yeah, that is cool. But you have to go where they are. You have to go to trade shows. You have to talk to 1 million people there. You have to get all the business cards and you have to follow up. Don't be obnoxious when you follow up though.
Yeah.
Like, I always tell people, like, if this is not a fit, just tell me. I am not one to harass people more than twice.
Right.
Emails get busy and I will sometimes let things go, but if you harass people, you turn them off.
Right.
It's super hard. But yeah, you have to travel. You have to go places.
Yeah. And I love that. You spend that time doing it. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the community?
This journey has been way more fun than I thought it was going to be. I've learned so much about myself. I actually used to be a really shy person.
I can't believe that. That is so...
Like, I was
Is that
quiet.
believable to you?
I was a quiet nurse. I just kind of stayed in my lane. I mean, I still kind of rock the boat as a nurse, but like, I have just leaned into this. I love speaking in public now. And you have to repeatedly do these things and talk to yourself in the mirror, pitch in the mirror. It feels stupid and awkward and awful. Like, I will say, even 2 years later, even though I'm standing on stages pitching to people and I'm really well rehearsed, it still feels stupid talking to VCs. I still feel stupid saying things, and it still feels incredible to have things like, oh, sorry, I have a phone call with NATO, I can't do that. Like, the things that come out of my mouth sometimes are just crazy. Like we're planning trips to Estonia and Australia, so we're talking to major distributors. But again, like, I still feel crazy every day, and I still love it every day.
I love that. So I think that's just a reminder to women that are starting things that imposter syndrome, no matter how successful you are, that can sometimes creep up.
Yeah.
Just move through it.
Yes.
Yes. And like you said, like what's the worst that's going to happen? Somebody's going to say no?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
just put
I mean, the
yourself out
worst
there.
that could happen is the business could blow up. So that could be bad. But I think when I first started this, my husband and I sat down and we talked, like, you have to know what you're going to do if things fail. And there were certain like financial limits that we committed to as a couple of how much personal funds we were going to expend. And if everything folded, like, was I going to be okay? That was my husband's big thing. Like, but at the same time, he also said, this consumes you like a fire. He's like, I see it. If you don't do it, you're going to explode because it just burns in my gut. The stories. So I talked about going to talk to people. The most powerful thing that drives me every day are the people I talk to who get emotional and tell me, if this had existed, my friend would have lived. If this had existed, my niece wouldn't have been unnoticed in the ER and would still be here. Like, I am carrying the responsibility of lives. And that is a huge honor, and it's a huge driving force. Like, I know sometimes a lot of companies are like, we save lives. No, legitimately. Like, this is going to prevent somebody from dying.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stop. I
Yeah,
can't.
you have
because
to
it's too important.
Yeah, and as a veteran, I thank you too.
Yes.
Just, I mean, I've lost people. I've seen that happen, and it's devastating.
Yeah.
And these types of things will make a difference. So,
Absolutely.
Jessica, thank you so much for sharing
course.
your story
Yeah.
and your journey on
Yeah.
getting here. I want to thank Legends Coffee and Comics for allowing us this beautiful space this morning, because Set the Bar is showing women's sports down the street. So go Set the Bar, go Legends, and as always, LFG with AQi.
With as hard as life can be, I wouldn't ask to change a thing.